come in from Nitesh Rane as well. BJP MLA Nitesh Rane has taken a dig at Sanjay Raut, and of course the investigations underway against leaders of the Shiv Sena, and he might, in fact, he's indicating that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There might be other Shiv Sena leaders under the radar of the investigative agencies. Let's listen into what he said. So this is a tweet that Mr. Rane has put out, indicating that Mr. Anil Parab might be next as far as the investigations into alleged money laundering is concerned. Let's listen in to this audio clip that he's attached to his tweet that he just posted a short while ago. So there, of course, Nitesh Rane taking a dig at Anil Parab and, of course, the ongoing state of affairs within the ranks of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena. Let me go back to Radhika once again. Radhika, the BJP appears to indicate that this might just be the tip of the iceberg, that Sanjay Raut might not be the only member of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena to be targeted by agencies. He's indicating that Anil Parab might be next.
That's right. He is indicating that Anil Parab could be next because, remember, there were multiple raids conducted at Anil Parab's premises and questioning had also taken place. Of course, there is a possibility that he could be summoned next. So Anil Parab seems to be on the radar of the central agency. So therefore, he could be the next Sela leader who could be arrested is what the BJP leaders are hinting at. Of course, we heard Eknath Shinde also this morning, who said that if he feels that if Sanjay Raut thinks that he's innocent, then he should cooperate with the investigation agency. Many a time Sanjay Raut had criticized him, but he doesn't want to retort to those criticisms. But what is happening is procedural, and that he should cooperate with the investigation agencies, and truth will, the truth will be disclosed. As the investigation progresses, is what Eknath Shinde had stated just this morning when he responded to Sanjay Raut's arrest.
There appears to be some movement at the ED office in Mumbai where Sanjay Raut currently is. Like you told us, that he's expected to be taken for a medical examination, which is part of the procedure before he's taken to the PMLA court, where hearings will take place about his custody. Any sense of any movement? Do you see him coming out anytime soon? Why have the proceedings been delayed slightly?
All right, yes, there is movement happening right outside Enforcement Directorate office. There is a car that is taking some of the ED officials as well as CRPF officials are inside that particular car, and they will be accompanying Sanjay Raut when he's taken for medical examination at JJ Hospital. In a few minutes from now, there will be, Sanjay Raut will be taken out. And there is several police personnel who will also be accompanying Sanjay Raut when he's taken for medical examination. So local police, CRPF, CISF will be, going along with Sanjay Raut when he is taken for medical examination, when he's produced before the court as well. You can see the cars, the official cars that are on standby. He will be taken out any minute from now. There's heavy policing that you're seeing here. In fact, there are at least about 100 local police officials, CRPF as well as CISF, who've been manning this place since yesterday. This entire place is barricaded for general public. It's just media personnel as well as security officials who've been here since yesterday. And now, of course, what we are seeing, what we are showing you are visuals outside the Enforcement Directorate office, where the cars, the official cars of CRPF, CISF, as well as of Enforcement Directorate are on standby. And Raut will be taken out any minute from now. Of course, there is heavy barricading simply because they do not want any disturbance to law and order situation. There could be possibility that Shiv Senics may just protest. Yesterday we saw small protests happening outside this particular block.
All right, stay on with us, Radhika. We have Kishori Pednekar, Shiv Sena leader, also joining us over the phone line. अभी कुछ ही देर में संजय राउत को ले जाएगा कोर्ट. The enforcement directorate has said कि उनके घर से unaccounted cash मिला है. Your first reaction?
Hello.
Yes, Pednekar, can you hear us? हाँ, अभी enforcement directorate
मैं सुन रही हूँ, बोलिए.
जी, एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट ऑफिशियल्स अभी संजय राउत को कोर्ट लेकर के जाएंगे. उन्होंने ये कहा है कि उनके घर से अनअकाउंटेड कैश मिला है अपार्ट फ्रॉम अ लॉट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स.
वो मुझे पता नहीं है, लेकिन उन्होंने ये तो कहा था कि पार्टी का ये था करके, बाकी पता नहीं है मुझे.
लेकिन क्या आप संजय राउत जी का समर्थन करेंगी किशोरी पेडनेकर जी, क्योंकि शिवसेना जो उद्धव ठाकरे की शिवसेना है वो तो कह रही है कि ये तो पूरा पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा है उनके खिलाफ.
नहीं, वो तो आपको भी पता है.
Right, there is Sanjay Raut. Thank you, Ms. Pednekar. But there's Sanjay Raut just emerging out of the ED office in Fort in Mumbai. He will now be taken for medical examination, as is the procedure, before, of course, being taken to the PMLA court for further hearing with respect to his custody. Over to you, Radhika.
That's right. Sanjay Raut has just been taken out of Enforcement Directorate office, and just as he got out, he waved at people, he waved at the media, he showed his saffron scarf and waved at the media. Now, of course, he is being escorted by the security officials, by the Enforcement Directorate officials, the CRPF, the CISF, as well as local police who are escorting him. And as you can see, Sanjay Raut being taken out of the Enforcement Directorate office for medical examination. He's waving at the media. He's seeming confident. There's a big front putting out, as you can see, and now his vehicle has left from Enforcement Directorate office straight to JJ Hospital, where procedurally the medical examination will take place, after which, of course, he will be produced before the court.
Right, but we just saw the visuals there, Radhika. Like you mentioned, he was not just waving to a lot of supporters who gathered outside there. Despite the security presence, a lot of supporters there wanting to show their support. But very, very interestingly, he also continued to be wearing the saffron shawl. He was wearing it around his neck as he waved to his supporters. In fact, Arunil is also joining us live. Arunil, we just saw visuals of Sanjay Raut leaving from the Enforcement Directorate office with the saffron shawl around his neck, waving to the fans and getting into the car.
It took 1 more hour to bring it to the subsequent which all of yesterday continued in well, the same kind of demeanor was being postured by Sanjay Raut at his residence as well. He had sat on his bonnet that time wearing a saffron cloth around his neck. Same kind of a posture being presented by Sanjay Raut, waving at the media personnel who had gathered here, waving at his supporters who have been kept at a distance. Sanjay Raut will now be taken for medical at the JJ Hospital, and from there he will be taken to the PMLA court. Clearly, trouble mounts for the senior Shiv Sena leader, who also happens to be the chief spokesperson of the party. Extremely serious allegations against Sanjay Raut of money laundering in the Patrachal land grab case. Allegations of money laundering for more than rupees 1,000 crore. And that's why his properties of more than rupees 11 crore, 8 parcels of land in Alibag as well as the plush flat in Dadar have been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. Late last night we were reporting from here, and at around 12:30 a.m. the confirmation came in from the Enforcement Directorate officers from inside that Sanjay Raut, the chief spokesperson of the Shiv Sena party, has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, and he was also being questioned very extensively today morning also with respect to the unaccounted cash that were recovered from his residence. Cash worth more than rupees 11.50 lakh were recovered. His brother Sunil Raut yesterday, last night after the arrest, came and spoke to the media, basically saying that 10 lakh rupees out of the 11.50 lakh belong to Eknath Shinde, belong to the Shiv Sena party, and that money was being kept for the recent Ayodhya trip of Aditya Thackeray as well as the other Shiv Sena leaders. Now Sanjay Raut being taken for medical. After that he will be taken to the PMLA court. We also understand that Uddhav Thackeray, the party supremo of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena, will be holding a key meeting to decide the future course of action. He had taken out an attack on the BJP, basically saying that just because Sanjay Raut was vehemently criticizing the BJP government at the center from the mouthpiece Samna, because he happens to be the executive editor of Samna, the mouthpiece of the Shiv Sena, that's why Sanjay Raut is being put behind bars. This is clear-cut political vendetta being meted by the BJP. That's what the allegation from the Uddhav Thackeray camp of the Shiv Sena is coming. Whereas when it comes to CM Eknath Shinde camp, they have said that when he has done nothing wrong, if he feels that he has done nothing wrong, that he should not fear an investigation, he should not fear a probe from the enforcement directorate. So the latest development is that Sanjay Raut, who was questioned for more than 15 hours yesterday on Sunday, today now he's been taken for medical at the JJ hospital, and subsequently he will be taken to the PMLA court.
Arunil, coming back to you now, the JJ hospital is about 5 kilometers from where you are, which is right outside Ballard Estate. It's a 5-kilometer distance, so it could take some time for Sanjay Raut to reach the JJ hospital for his medical examination. How long are these proceedings now expected to last before the hearing actually begins in the PMLA court?
Well, about an hour it is expected to go, Siddharth, because the medical will be conducted at the JJ hospital, and then immediately he will be taken to the PMLA court. That's what we understand from our sources inside the enforcement directorate. The ED is expected to ask for 5 days of custody of Sanjay Raut, and extremely serious charges have been leveled against the Shiv Sena leader. The charges basically involve a scam of more than ₹1,000 crore, and how the proceeds of crime, the money that was made out of this Patra Chaul case scam, according to the enforcement directorate's claims and allegations, Sanjay Raut parked that money via his close confidants, that is Sujit Patkar as well as Nitin Raut, in several properties across the state of Maharashtra, and that is why only the properties belonging to Sanjay Raut himself, the property in Alibag as well as the plush flat in Dadar, have been attached already by the enforcement directorate. Another key development in this is an FIR was registered at the Wakola police station late last night, basically based on the complaint that was filed by the key witness in the Patra Chaul case, that is Swapna Patkar. Swapna Patkar basically had said that she was abused, she was threatened by Sanjay Raut. She had given an audio recording of that as well, and based on that audio recording and the complaint filed by her, an FIR was registered against Sanjay Raut. So a dual kind of an investigation is expected. At present, obviously, Sanjay Raut is in the custody of the enforcement directorate, and money laundering charges and the corruption charges are being investigated by the ED.
All right, Arunil, in fact, even there we saw a lot of supporters. There are supporters of Sanjay Raut all through the way. Yesterday, during the questioning, supporters were waiting outside his house. Today, outside the enforcement directorate. In fact, outside the court as well, there are several of his supporters wanting to show their support to the Shiv Sena MP. Our colleague Shweta gives us a ground report.
Sanjay Raut, he had been arrested yesterday night, and he can be taken to medical anytime to JJ hospital. But before that, we are present here at Sessions Court, and you can see in and around me there is a large gathering of women protesters outside, and these women have gathered to support Mr. Sanjay Raut. We'll just question them since how long they are here, because we have seen similar kind of visuals emerging out of Raut's residence yesterday. After that, there were a large gathering which happened to be their enforcement directorate office also. मैडम, आप कितने देर से यहाँ पर हैं?
1 घंटा हो गया हम लोग।
मैम 1 घंटे से आप यहाँ पर इंतजार कर रही हैं, लेकिन अभी संजय राउत को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है। अब हम देख रहे हैं लगातार कई जगह पे सेना के लोग आ रहे हैं और प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं। ये प्रदर्शन कब तक जारी रहेगा, क्योंकि अब तो वो गिरफ्तार हो गए हैं?
हाँ, जब तक चालू है तब तक हम लोग हाँ,
जब तक छोड़ना चाहिए ना, एडी की क्या जरूरत है।
पूरा सपोर्ट है हम लोग संजय राउत के लिए। वो सब भाजपा का सब कराया धरा है, सब नाटक है और शिवसेना उसको खत्म करने का है और मुंबई तोड़ने का है, बस उनका दूसरा कुछ मकसद नहीं है।
Well, as you hear from other MVA leaders as well as Sena supporters that there is alleged misuse of central agencies like Enforcement Directorate. Also, as per Sena protesters and those who are coming here to back up Sanjay Raut, they are also claiming for the fact that this is the entire move allegedly done by BJP to break down Sena in Maharashtra.